back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. Please like, share and subscribe. This is for entertainment purpose only. This is the case of Nicola Jane Bulley, who was reported missing on the 27th of January. She was last seen at the River Tour Part at 9:15. The inquest was on the 26th and 27th of this month. It's done. And it was ruled out that Nicola had an accidentally drowning death. I have a couple of follow-up questions that should have been followed up in the inquest. Mr. Paul Ansel, you said clearly in your interview that you called Nicola on a mobile device and then you called on a WhatsApp and you did not get any answer. Why did you not mention that you called her 6 times like you said in the transcript? So when were you lying? Were you lying in the first time or the second time is my question. My second question is, why didn't you say that you text Nicola at 9:15 to say, are you lost? What a strange question. Many people say that, yeah, it's a normal question. Yes. When my son goes to the shop and he's 18 years old and takes time, I do say, are you lost? Because I know he has friends, he'll be caught up talking to his friends. It doesn't necessarily mean you're lost. But if I tell any of my children, if I text them and say, are you lost? It is quite understandable. Because I live in London. London is a big city where a lot of things happen. So any parent who lives in a big city would understand that. But when you live in a small town, a small village, what is the necessity for Paul to be calling Nicola when she just left at 9:15 to say, are you lost? Was that some kind of signal allegedly? Because I'm surprised. This should have come out at once. There should be follow-up questions. The timing that he sent her the text and the words he used in the text were strange.
Emails and stuff, setting my day up, and it got to say 10:15, and that's when I thought, she's later than usual, but I still wasn't particularly worried because she has come back at later than usual, but I still wasn't particularly worried because she has come back at 10:20, and that's when I thought, she's later than usual, but I still wasn't particularly worried because she has come back at 10:15 sometimes. She might just get talking to Emma or
find a friend on a dog walk.
or anybody. So it's not often, but she has got back at about 10:15, 10:20. So again, I wasn't massively concerned or anything. Then it got to 10:30, and that's when I thought, she's quite late now, more late than usual. So I tried ringing, but I still wasn't particularly worried because she has come back at 20:15 times. She might just get talking to Emma or
find a
another friend, but she has got back at about 10:15, 20:15. So again, I wasn't massively concerned or anything. Then it got to 10:30, and that's when I thought, she's quite late now, more late than usual. So ringing her phone, and there was no answer. I tried ringing her on WhatsApp, and again there was no answer. I tried the mobile again, and no answer. So I couldn't get it. I started to get a bit panicky.
Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I'd like to start by wishing all my subscribers, viewers, and everyone a happy weekend. May God bless you all and be with you all. And this is the case of Nicola Jane Bulley. May she rest in peace. Condolence to her family. I have a couple of questions. That's the reason I'm not done with this case. If things seem to be exactly the way it was mentioned in the interviews before, I wouldn't have had an issue. But we have a big red flag here. Paul did not say in his interview at all that he texted Nicola. The transcript says that Paul texted Nicola at 9:15. Paul texted Nicola at 9:15. I don't believe Nicola looked at the message with all that was going on. He said that he texted her saying, "Are you lost?" I do understand "are you lost" is a figure of speech, but there's a big difference. When somebody lives in a small town and your partner just left, and you heard him clearly saying in the interview that usually she comes home around 10. Sometimes she could be a bit late, he said. She could come back by 9:15, 10:15. She could be talking to Emma or some other dog walker. That is Paul's words, not my words. Why didn't he say that he texted Nicola and said, "Are you lost?" What a coincidence. He texted Nicola at 9:15, and it was around those timings Nicola fell in the river. The second question I have is it's written clearly in the transcript that the parents asked the Dr. Adley, the coroner, to rule it out as an accident. When they say family, is the family Nicola's parents or is the family only Paul? Because Paul is actually the person who talks for the family that we're aware of. Why wasn't there any follow-up questions about the text message he sent to Nicola? He was clever and good in reminding us that he called Nicola's phone. She didn't answer. Then he called her WhatsApp. She didn't answer. Then he called her phone back and she didn't answer. Why would you forget that you texted the person and said, "Are you lost?" I find that very strange. Did you text Nicola to check if something happened to her? Just a question. Since there was a man with a beanie hat around. I'm not making up my own words. These are all the words from the transcript. I mentioned it in my clip yesterday and I'm mentioning it again. How did the mental health nurse come to the assessment that Nicola was not depressed? Nicola was clearly intoxicated and wanted to sleep. When somebody is intoxicated, you cannot do a mental health assessment with them unless that is all right in St. Michael's. But I live in the UK and I'm a licensed mental health counsellor, so I believe that the rules apply to the whole of the UK, Wales, Great Britain. We have the same rules here. It's impossible that we have some rules in London and we have different rules in Kent and different rules in Lancashire and different rules in Wales. That's not how it works. So Paul, why didn't you mention that? The family wanted to rule this as an accident, I can understand, because of everything that's going on, but maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, because even the dead people deserve their justice. Unless it was Paul, would the whole family decided to close the case? That is different. Just have a question. Could the family have decided to close this case because Luis was involved too? Is it because the guilt that maybe they call the mental health, the welfare and everything, and things went turned sour? Could there be all that guilt or things that emotions that are coming through? And if there's a lot of emotions around, then obviously you won't have a clear mind to focus on getting the person the right answers and the justice they deserve, if there's justice to be served. I'm not saying that foul play happened here, but I believe, yes, there's a third party involvement. Clearly, there's a man with a black beanie hat that Lancashire police did not go and get. That is a red flag. I don't understand why they would even bother to mention that in the transcript. They should have just left it out. Seriously, they should have left it out, because all they have added is like that Lancashire police told Curtis, "You're fueling fire online." Do you all remember? That is what's happening. You're fueling fire online. They are coming with things in the transcript and then they're telling us the case is closed, don't talk about it. No. This came on our knees. We deserve answers. There's a man with a beanie hat that is roaming around. The Lancashire police hasn't caught him. Could he be the same man that hurted poor Shannon Cannon? Could it be the same man that hurted and killed Rachel Jackson? Could a serial killer be roaming around? Or was it something to do only with Nicola? Did that beanie man, the man with the beanie hat, man in black, did he come for Nicola? Is that why Nicola couldn't answer the text message? This is a really sad and tragic case, but Nicola Jane Bulley deserves her justice. There isn't any CCTV footages working from the River Top part up to the primary school. Well, my question is, where are the dash cams, the 700 dash cams that they were supposed to be getting? What happened to those dash cams? We haven't heard about it. I'm so happy, proud of Nicola Jane Bulley, may she rest in peace, that she had no alcohol in her system. So everything when they're saying that Nicola had a bleep, I don't believe that. Nicola died with paracetamol in her system. Nicola's good name was trashed on. This is the reason that most of us got into the case, I believe. Dead people's names should be respected. Just because they don't have a voice of their own, that doesn't mean that we are supposed to say that they were alcoholics or have menopause situations. Then you have the mental health team clearly seeing that Nicola had a bruise on her head, behind her head, a big bruise. She had an injury on her head, and Nicola said she wanted to sleep it off. She was intoxicated. But then she was asked, then the nurse, her name was Terry, I guess, was asked, the mental health nurse, and she said, she was asked, did Nicola look depressed? She said, no, not that I can think of. She was just tired, she wanted to sleep. How would the mental health nurse know if Nicola was depressed or not? Because Nicola was intoxicated. How can you do an assessment with a person who's intoxicated? It is not allowed, because you're not going to find out anything from that. And for Nicola to be found if she had depression or if she was depressed, that has to be done through therapy, that has to be done through a psychiatrist, through her GP. It can't just be done through an emergency mental health nurse and ambulances that came to you on your first time. This does not make sense, and now I can understand why the police reported themselves to the watchdogs for the 10th of January, because if anything went wrong, everything went on the 10th of January. That is why they took that case first. Because if Nicola had the injury and she went and got a CT scan next day and they said she was all right, still, whether the CT scan says that you're all right, it could have been a concussion and she can get side effects later. She should have been monitored. She should have been kept at home. Nicola should have been monitored by her sister, by her partner, by her loved ones, and by her family, and especially by the mental health team and the whole team that came that day. Did a fight happen that day? I still ask. Because the police said that the mental health team, the welfare team, they said actually the medical team, but now we know it's the mental health team. The mental health team, the welfare, the ambulance crew, and only one policeman without a body camera came to the scene. So we wouldn't even know what happened because he didn't have on a body camera. So we just have to believe what the crew tell us who went to visit Nicola. We don't have it from Nicola's mouth. For Louise to have called the mental health team, she must have assumed it was very serious. So, what symptoms did Nicola have? Did she have a mental health episode? Or was it because of the injury on her head? Why didn't the ambulance crew call a doctor in the emergency room and explain what's going on, and the doctor could have made the decision to bring her in or not? Because there's a mental health nurse there, there was the ambulance crew there were the welfare team there, and the police was there. There was no doctor there, there was no psychiatrist there. Nicola was not taken to the psychiatrist. If Nicola even refused, they should have sanctioned her, taken her for treatment to come to the bottom of what actually happened. To be honest, I feel really, really terrible for Nicola now when I found out it was the mental health team. I'm sure the nurse is a very dedicated nurse in her job, and I'm sure it was a stressful moment, so she couldn't make quick decisions. But if she's hearing me, the nurse knows. Every person who works in the mental health team knows. When somebody's intoxicated or on drugs or anything, we are not supposed to speak to them, or even on medications, serious medications that can interfere with their cognitive size. How can you talk to someone if they're intoxicated? You have to wait for them to sober up. Common sense. So common sense wasn't even used here. This is terrible. This is a failure, both from the system and from the family. I hate to say that. May she rest in peace. So much could have been done for Nicola Bulley, but yet nothing was done. Nothing was done. She had the injury on the 10th, and allegedly she fell in the river on the 27th. 17 days, 16 days. Her injury in her head could have turned worse. That is possible. She could have fallen, gone fatigue and dizzy. I believe that. Imagine you having an injury on your head, and then the mental health nurse and the ambulance crew let her sleep it off. That is one I can't get over. That investigation should have been put back again and been given to another team. The Lancashire police reported themselves to the watchdogs. No, give it to an independent police team. In fact, this should go to the court. This deceived the poor woman's health, the poor mother's health. She should have got emergency treatment. I really don't understand what happened in this case, but I still want to know why Paul answered. Why didn't you mention that you texted Nicola Bulley? You texted your partner and said, "Are you lost?" Why didn't you mention that? You mentioned WhatsApp. You called on WhatsApp, but you forgot to mention the most important thing, that you texted her. Why did you text at 9:15? You said you weren't worried. It became 10:15. That's the time you started getting worried. That's the time I knew that it isn't normal. So why did you call at 9:15? A red flag. I personally believe that is the biggest red flag that should be counted in. Many people are talking about the beanie, the guy with the beanie hat. Yes, he's crucial in the case, because Paul said himself, if somebody is new to the area, they stick like a sore thumb. So somebody was new in the area, Paul. Why don't you search for the beanie man? Or weren't you interested? Now that you have the transcript and the inquest, why aren't you pressuring the police to find the man in the beanie hat? Because you don't want to. You don't want to get justice for Nicola. Poor woman. And now that we know, we always knew that, but now that it's confirmed that Nicola Bulley wasn't an alcoholic, now I can see it more as third party and foul play. I'm entitled to my opinion. I ain't blaming anyone. I'm just reading the transcript. Doesn't make sense. And the sad thing is, there was no follow-up. There was no follow-up questions. Nobody asked even, "Yeah, but Mr. Ansel, You said in the World's interview that you called Nicola after 10. You said you called on WhatsApp, you called on the phone. Why didn't they just ask, but Miss Ansel, did you, maybe due to the stress, did you forget to mention that you texted her? Nothing was asked. The family asked to close the case. But God's justice is always there. I believe always that God Almighty doesn't like evil. Evil, I mean, from anyone. God cleared Nicola Bulley's name while she was being accused of being struggling with alcohol and all. There's nothing wrong in struggling with alcohol or addictions, but something is wrong when you're accused of something you don't do. That is really wrong. So this is really, really a sad day, a sad week. Not only for Nicola Bulley, may she rest in peace, not only for her family, condolence to them, not only for beautiful daughters that they lost the most important thing, the most important person in their life, their mother, but this is a sad day for women in UK and everywhere in the world. My sisters, women, look after yourself wherever you are. Because if anything happens, then it'll be ruled out as an accident. It's just sad. They have so many things that is not right, like a man with a beanie hat. They can see the timelines are not right. They had 5 months to clear up this mess and come out with the truth, but they decided to maneuver it around, wrap it up in a gift and give us a transcript and say, here's the transcript, say no more. Done, case closed, finish. But then what can we say? Nicola's parents, not parents, Nicola's family wanted this case to be closed and ruled out as an accident. I wonder if the family is the parents or if the family is Paul. It has to be that the family that talks and represents is Paul. Because when Peter Folding was doing their searches and the police divers and Lancashire police, it was Paul. Paul said, I have good communication with the police. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just shows that he's the representative of the family. So Louise called the mental health team because definitely her sister must have been depressed or going through something. But I wonder why Louise did not insist that the ambulance crew take her sister to the hospital and put on a CT scan immediately. They're saying that Nicola went to the hospital next day and the CT scan showed everything was fine. It could show everything is fine and something could have happened later. Another thing everyone knows, we teach our children, if you follow anything happens to you, the quicker you report it to the doctor, the quicker you get help. The more longer you wait, the worse it can get. So did something happen because Nicola did not? We don't even know how long Nicola had that injury before they came, the mental aid team and the ambulance. She could have had it for a couple of days and that could have caused further injuries in her head. That is the head we're talking about, the brain. She could have felt confused and different things because she had a fall on her head. Or I don't believe she fell. God knows, we weren't there. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a lovely weekend. Look after yourselves. Be good to each other. Love you. Bye.